Hello everyone, thanks for tuning into today's second video. We're going to have a look at the ECMWF 42-day model for today's second video. This is your 42-day / 6 weeks look ahead, but TV Gav for UK and Ireland. I shall get on with it for you in a moment. Just say about the first video sales at 6 UK weather forecast. We've also got weekend forecast and teleporting down on the way today. Please like, share and subscribe on all of today's videos and content. Thank you so much everyone for doing that for GavsWeatherVids. Thank you so much everyone. And thanks so much to ECMWF.int for supplying the charts and the data as well, by the way. Thank you so much, EC. Right, let's start off with the week one being sea level pressure anomaly, taking us through next week. This is the 7th to the 14th of April. High pressure will be sitting over the country next week, bringing loads and loads of dry weather with it to the UK and to Ireland as well. 500 millibar high dominant, again showing that big area of high pressure in control, above average heights, high pressure in control across many western parts of Europe. Temperature anomalies next week for the UK are going to be above average. Notice cold over across eastern parts of Europe, or cold than average anyway, and it is going to be a dry week as well, of course. Not about high pressure, we remain high and dry. Week 2 will be the 14th to the 21st of April. So a change here, we've got high pressure pulling out into the Atlantic by the look of it, and a ridge over on the east side of Europe. What's happening in this white area? I wonder if that could be a trough of low, elongated down a little bit like that in reality. It would make sense if it was, wouldn't it? 500 millibar heights, so don't really show that. They show like a ridge still over to the east junction, some sort of trough down here that will bring the wind up from a southerly or maybe a southeasterly direction. Temperature anomalies next week then are still above average, with those southerly influences continuing. On the temperature scale, around 1 to 3 degrees above average, and precipitation wise, we look wetter than average across much of southern Europe, and some of that range just getting into southern parts of England, Wales as well. Near normal elsewhere, it looks a rather more showery, if not especially wet week there, I have to say, from the 14th to the 21st of April. Right, week 3 will be the 21st to 28th of April. Finding a ridge in the Atlantic going up towards Greenland. A trough is over northern and eastern parts of Europe. And again, we're bringing the wind this time from more of a northerly or northwesterly type direction anyway. 500 millibar heights look like that, with a ridge building through the Atlantic and heading up towards Greenland. Trough over Scandinavia. Keeps the wind going from that northerly to northwesterly direction. The temperature anomaly then is cooling down in the 3rd week, still slightly above average, but it's much closer to normal, so there's a bit of a drop in the temperature going on there. And precipitation wise, looking relatively dry in the Atlantic, but wetter across the northern parts of Europe. Right, week 4 will be the 28th of April to the 5th of May. So this week, finding a ridge building up from the Azores into western parts of Europe, bringing the wind in from more of a westerly direction. That should be a milder wind direction, if anything. 500 millibar heights, again, the ridge down there, and we bring the wind in from the west a little bit like that. So the temperature anomaly lifts to be slightly above average, but not a big deviation. And precipitation-wise for week 4, it's wetter than average up towards Iceland, and dry than average down towards the Azores. Week 5 is the 5th through to the 12th of May. Now, this is a little bit mysterious, so let's put in a question mark. It's not all that obvious what's happening there. 500 millibar heights look like that. So we've got a ridge in the Atlantic through there, and probably some sort of a ridge through there. Now, could there be some lower pressure around there? Maybe, but it does look a very weak signal. Temperature now is just ever so slightly above average. Again, it isn't a big deviation. And precipitation wise, very weak signal, but if anything, might be slightly on the wetter side. And then lastly, week 6, we've been up to the 19th of May, and absolutely no signal there. So once more, let's put in the question mark. The 500 millibar heights, again, revealing naught. And temperature-wise, we see above average temperatures through the north and the west of Europe. Largely precipitation-wise, not much use with that either. So once it gets made, it all gets pretty mysterious. Between now and then, quite a bit of chopping and changing, but overall, I think we keep a lot of high-pressure influences going, certainly for the next week or two, across northern and western Europe. Maybe a little bit more unsettled towards the end of April and into the beginning of May. But as I say, when we get into May, it does look very, very weak signals and pretty mysterious. Mysterious May, we shall see. Right, well, if you enjoyed the video, please like, share, subscribe, thanks so much for doing that. Remember, just a snapshot of what the model is showing, so it could look completely different when we do this again next week. And make sure, if you haven't seen it yet, you check out JMA Friday from yesterday to see how this compares to the JMA and CFSB2 models. We're going to be back in a bit with weekend forecast, 8 day to 14 day. Come back for that shortly. This is all, that's all now, and thanks for watching.